Hey everybody, Tim here at Doc's Autos. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on the 1998 Ford Mustang convertible. Stay tuned. All right folks, so we're back here with the 98 Mustang, the SN95, and we've got a couple of things to do before the weather gets nice, and one of those is fix the odometer. Now, I noticed right when I brought it home, actually from the time I got it to getting it home, the odometer stopped clocking miles. Luckily, I've only put on about 20 miles to the gas station and back last fall. So we'll take this opportunity to go ahead and get that fixed. Now, it's a pretty simple process. Take off the headlight pull switch, this plastic cover, and then the gauge cluster, and then it'll all come out. So let's go ahead and try and get that done. Headlight should come out with a small screwdriver or pick. These here should be a T20 Torx, or I believe an 8mm socket. This should pull forward and out. We can set that to the side. Now we'll notice it is winter or March, still cold. I did let this come in and sit overnight before I started wrenching on these plastic parts because, well, they'll break. And I also did go ahead and disconnect the battery just because we're working with some of the electrical connectors back here for the gauge cluster. Now next we've got 4 of these brown or black bolts to take out. Not the brass colored ones, but 1, 2, 3, 4 T20 Torx, or again your 8mm. If I can not drop these down behind, that'd be great. The cluster should pull out, and you can disconnect the plugs from behind it. One plug there, and one plug on the other side. All right, let's go over to the workbench. So both the trip odometer and the main odometer stopped ticking off miles, and all the other gauges worked. The speedometer worked, tach worked, everything else worked. And doing some research that showed that the worm gear inside here likely is the culprit. So I went out to CJ Pony Parts and picked that up for about $25, along with a LED conversion for the backlighting, as a couple of the bulbs had been burnt out. So let's try and get this adjusted out of the glare, and we'll come back and start disassembly. Alrighty, well, we're here. Take off all these brass colored nuts here, bolts, whatever you want to call them, screws, with your T15. Alrighty, well, with this cover removed, we've got 3 different plates to take off. And you want to be careful when you take them off. You don't actually catch the black or white or whatever color your trim is, but actually get under the plastic panel itself. As you see, there's a bunch of pins under here and connections that they're all seated in. So you want to be careful we're not prying or bending to bend any of these pins or break those connections. Probably clean this up real quick as long as I'm in here, but everything looks to be in good shape. And there it is. Now I've got these bulbs I'm also going to be replacing with the LEDs, but we'll go ahead and get the main task at hand fixed first. Alrighty, now that we've got the gauge cluster out, set down on something soft so I don't damage the dials on the front side, here is our assembly here that comes out. And we lift up this little piece, see if I can show you better. Little piece of plastic here to lift up with a screwdriver, allow you to twist this motor out. Unfortunately, my selection of delicate screwdrivers has gone missing. So we have this giant rod. But, no doubt, slide it in here. Got one on each side. That allows the motor to come out. And here is our worm gear. The culprit in question. And then this gear here as well. Yep, and there is a broken gear in there. The worm gear itself is actually okay, but I'll take this out here and show you. This main drive cog here is broken. Alright, again, screwdriver, if I stop dropping it. Alrighty, so this drive gear here comes out again with a preferably smaller screwdriver, but we use what we got. You can see this gear just chipped off. The whole gear itself just pretty much disintegrated. So here's the part initially that was broken. You can see the teeth is chipped here, missing 2 teeth, and then this part just split when I tried to pick it up. We still have our cogs in there, or our little pins. You can get this new gear out and I'll show you. You can see these here are flat out broken off. So I'll extract those out. I can use a little nail. Grab our other broken teeth out. That wonderful grease in there that's not doing anybody any good. There we go. There's one. And there's the other broken piece. So we can take our new gear. These don't require any lubrication on them from what the information states. So granted, there's still a little in here anyways. A little extra lube never hurt anybody, right? We'll go and set him back in place here. Right direction would be preferable. All right, he's locked down in place. Now the worm gear, this one looks just fine. Actually, maybe it was replaced at some point in time. But I'm going to replace it because I have it. So take note, we've got a little bit of a gap in here, and we're going to want to maintain that when we put the new gear back in place. But for now, we can just take our screwdriver, our extremely large screwdriver, and pop this old gear off. And just work it around gently. We don't need to smash on anything. There we go. There's our old gear. And here's our new gear. A little bit different. This one's, the new one's a little bit taller. But either way, go ahead and press it back in place. There we go. Just about perfect. Just a little over a blade for that screwdriver, blade width for that screwdriver. So we can go ahead and lock our motor back here in place again. Twist it in place. And there we go. That's as simple as that. Now I feel resistance on the motor here. And I can see it moving against the pin. So we do have contact there between all of our gears. Unlike our old broken gear, you can clearly see where our problem was. There just was no more mesh there. And even if, I would have spun it around a little bit, as soon as this gear would have gotten to another rotation, I would have been in the same spot and done again. So, 25 bucks, CJ Pony Parts, and that is replaced. So now that we have this done, I'm going to go back to looking at the update to the LED lights for the backlight. Alrighty, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights to replace, and I can already see off the bat 2 of them are burned out. So we'll go ahead and take these out and throw in our LEDs. These are 194 light bulbs. You can pick them up anywhere. I picked up a 6-pack off of Amazon for I think $12 or $13. And they are the cooler white. They're not the bright white. They're not the 6K blindingly bright lights. They're just not going to go well with the interior of the car, and I didn't need blinding blue interior dash lights. So we'll go ahead and take these out, swap the new ones in. Now I shouldn't even have to take that out, so I just wanted to do that to check the bulb base. I've had a couple of other vehicles. My old Explorer, these actually were one-piece fixtures, so I couldn't just take the bulbs out. My Tahoe, which I did do an LED conversion to kind of a blue to match the rest of the vehicle, these were separate pieces. So now that we know they're separate here, I can just take them out. And press them in. Now these were supposed to be polarity independent, so just to be sure, I'm going to quick go plug it back in the dash and see if all these lights come on. Be right back. Well, I'm glad I checked because they don't work. So we're going to take them all out. And likely return them. So for now, I'm going to put the bulbs back in that I know work and search through my other pile of bulbs for a couple of other ones that I hopefully have from other projects. So I'm going to try and patch up 5 working lights because I don't want to put it back together just to take it apart again. So we will come back when I reassemble this. All right, well, old Tim's just an idiot. You probably could guess what I've done wrong by now, and that was having the dimmer all the way off. Of course, not having the dimmer switch or handle on, I couldn't tell. So we'll go ahead, fire them up. Got those in. We're going to go ahead and set our gauge cluster parts back in place. Press gently again, no need to ram anything in. There we go. And for anybody thinking I did something funny, look, the miles have not changed. So I don't want to hear any of the, oh, you roll the odometer back, you're cheating. No, same 119,911 miles. Alrighty, now we can put our cover back on. I would like to have gotten in here and cleaned out some of the dust, but this is sealed onto the backing, and I'm not going to go and try and break it just to clean off some dust. So we'll see if I can blow in here real quick, if that does anything for us. And amazingly, it actually did clear out probably 90% of the dust. Alright, I'm going to clean this off quickly, then we'll go back over to the vehicle and reinstall it. Alrighty, well we're back in the vehicle here. We'll go ahead and get our cluster connected up. And try not to hit the horn like I did off camera. You know, nap season. There we go. Lights work. Lights work. All right. Everything lines up. We can go set our 4 screws or our 4 bolts, whatever you want to call them. Back in here. And again, I've got power tools for this, but why? Now, I suppose if you were really crafty, you could have just taken off these 8 bolts here, screws, whatever, pulled off the front panel, and then taken these little clusters out independently and fixed this. But, you know, I think there's just a whole lot more room to work if you actually get everything taken out. All right, you probably can't see in the light. We do have our nice gauge lights are back up and working, so that's great. Go ahead and put our last two little T20 Torx things back in here. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. We got the 5 new LED lights in the gauge cluster replaced, so those all work now. Our new gears are in place, and I really don't need to go for a test drive in the disgusting winter weather right now because having seen the physical damage on those gears, especially the one that was broken in 4 different places, that's going to give me a 99.98% certainty that this is going to work for us. So we'll put everything back together. Put it back in the shop for now until warmer days. So I hope you've liked this and found it somewhat informational for you. Again, you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Please be sure you've subscribed to us here and hit that notification bell so you are notified whenever we put out new content. Typically once, twice a week, depending on the project and the length of the videos. So until the next video, thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time. Bye-bye.